Good afternoon. We are here doing our first 2024 visual podcast for In Our Neighborhood. Next to me is Gordon Johnson, the chairperson of the school trustees, and Janet Duffy, my partner in the agency. I'm going to kind of turn it over to Janet to kind of lead us the way.
Which is, I don't know. I don't know what that means. Because I missed a presentation, Gordon. You recently were at the Rotary Electric as a speaker, and that's how you came to be with us today, because what you're doing is really important work, obviously, as well as getting out your story about what you guys are doing as Great Falls School trustees.
Well, I'm happy to be here, and thank you for the invitation.
Absolutely.
I think most people remember me from my long term with the Great Falls Symphony.
Yes, they do.
And I left that position in 2017. And it was shortly thereafter that I'd gotten a couple of phone calls from friends, citizens, and they encouraged me to run for school board. And I gave it some thought, and the more I thought about it, the more I realized how natural it would be for me to do so.
Absolutely. How many kids did you work with?
Oh my goodness. Well, that's the thing, Janet, is I conducted the Great Falls Youth Orchestra for 20 years.
Absolutely.
And then with the Great Falls Symphony Orchestra and Symphonic Choir, many of those people were either teachers or former teachers. We had students in the orchestra, talented students. So, and my wife's a public school teacher.
Yes, I was going to say, don't forget the wife.
So, I mean, all factors pointed to the fact that this would be a natural fit for me.
Absolutely.
Plus my personal passion for creating a situation where everybody has an opportunity to fulfill their ambitions, and that's done through education.
It is, absolutely, and it's a perfect role. So.
Yeah.
Tell us about the board. I mean, what does that look like?
It's the board is made up of people who are elected. They're elected officials, and there's 7 people on the school board. Each one is serving a 3-year term, and they're staggered, so they all don't go off at the same time.
Right, which is succession planning.
The succession planning.
Gordon has a year and a half left, by the way.
I have a year and a half left. So I'm into my 2nd term. And in May, we are having an election for 1 school board member whose turn is up, and she has filled out the paperwork to run again, which I'm grateful for. She's very talented.
Do you have to campaign really hard?
You know, one can. People have gotten signs and put them in yards and gotten flyers and passed them out. I didn't.
Right. Well, you're very well known.
And Janet, thank you. And that was it. I mean, most people, by my association with the symphony, pretty much knew who I was, so I sort of took the risk of not campaigning.
Sure.
And so it worked out both times that I was elected into this position. And as Todd said, I'm a year and a half into the term. Second term, and I'm 2nd year as a chairperson of the Board of Trustees.
And we talked a little bit before we came on camera about there's committee assignments, which you're going to tell us about.
Yes, I will.
One that's near and dear to my heart is the foundation, and you said that maybe you were involved with that as well.
I am. So once you're elected to the school board, you come to the school board meetings, and they're every other Monday.
Wow, that is a big commitment.
It is, and each one of those meetings, I mean, when we get an agenda, we receive them electronically, they're anywhere between, I'm not making this up, between 55 and 100 pages long. Wow. So we have to do our homework, we have to do our reading, not very glamorous reading in a lot of situations. You know, you're reading financial reports, you're reading policy, you're reading contracts that we engage in with people who are putting a new roof on a building or something of that nature. But beyond that, every school board member is given an assignment on a committee, and typically each member will serve on 2 to 3 committees, and that's my job to make those assignments. So I look at these people and I assess their skills, you know, whether they're in a position where they are working in finance, or if it's an attorney, maybe they're more inclined to do well on policy, and make those assignments. But the committees that I can think of that come to mind immediately are policy, and I'll delve into that a little later, because that has to to do. We're working on a lot of policies now because of what happened in the recent legislative session. A lot of laws have changed, and we have to alter our policies to be within the framework of the law.
Gotcha.
Budget, keeping the shop up and running with money. Safety, very big, very important. Transportation, calendar. Calendar is a big one too. But there is a whole list of committees that the various board members are assigned to. And one of them is foundation. And the foundation, Great Falls Public Schools Foundation, is a marvel. It's just incredible. We have Stephanie Schneider, who's the second person CEO in that job. The first one was Dave Crum, who a lot of people know.
He did a
Dave
wonderful job.
was fantastic, you know, and Stephanie had big shoes to fill, but man, she's fantastic.
Absolutely.
And so that money that's raised through the foundation, well, my goodness sake, I mean, it's created libraries within schools, it's created safe playgrounds outside of elementary schools.
Right.
It's been responsible for the Davidson Auditorium at Great Falls High School, for the STEM building at CMR. The list goes on and on. Scholarships for students for college and other things. Scholarships for teachers to attend conferences and conventions that they might not otherwise be able to afford. But that's all the foundation. And people love giving to the foundation because they can see tangibly what their money is working for.
Right. Well, and the people who are involved with the foundation are so passionate about it. Like,
They are.
You know, even the food pantries in the schools, and it's a whole different probably topic.
No, I love serving on that committee. That's not school board people. I'm the representative people, but the rest are community people.
They are, and they work
really
hard.
smart and bright people.
So we're getting to a place where we're going to have to wrap up this segment, but we're going to have you back, Gordon. So don't move. Stay tuned, right? Because there's a lot more that we want to talk about today.
I'd be happy to speak with you about it.
Okay, that'd be great.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you so much. Support the School Board Foundation.